All right, what's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Let Wayne Explain. Come on in. The water's just fine. All right, y'all. The games have wrapped up. Outside of the Monday night games, which, by the way, I'll be at Elm Hill Marina in Nashville with the rest of the Sports Nation crew, looking at that Monday night game with the Titans and the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be fun, so if y'all happen to be in the Nashville area, holla at your boy, because I'm going to be out there cutting up with the rest of the crew. But anyway, let's get off into the... First of all, let me just get off into this real quick. Let's start with Saturday. Bama versus Georgia. Let's start there. Now, I've been telling y'all, and I've been telling y'all this, and I've been saying it to anybody that'll listen. Georgia is not who you think they are. Because without Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers, that is not the same offense. Their defense was going to be fine. I had no worries about their defense. Georgia, you'd be hard-pressed to find a Georgia team with bad defense. So that's not what I was tripping on. But their offense was not going to be like you thought. And we saw some of that early in Clemson. We seen that in Kentucky. And Kentucky may be a little better than what people thought. But nevertheless, I knew Georgia, with how people had Georgia, they didn't have the offense to match what people thought they was going to be. It was just that simple. So when this whole thing with Bama and Georgia, when they was playing each other, I'm like, well, shoot, based on what I seen with Alabama, based on what I seen with Georgia, Alabama going to win this game. They can't score like that. You don't have Brock Bowers and Lad bailing them out like they did last year. Now, I thought they'd be able to run the ball good, but you can't run the ball every play, and Carson Beck is not a Heisman candidate, and I think we've all seen that to be true. Now, the polls came out now. Alabama won the game. Okay, cool. Now they rank number one? How? Because Bama won the game, but I think they kind of got exposed too. That don't look like the You can't blow a lead like that. And the number one team in the nation. You can't be number one and blow a lead like that. Albeit they came back, Ryan Williams came back and had that play in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth. But a number one team in the country doesn't let that happen. That wouldn't have happened to Texas. That wouldn't have happened to Ohio State. I don't think that'll happen to Tennessee. Speaking of Tennessee, are we sure that Tennessee ain't the second best team in the SEC? You see they rank number 4. I think that's about right. If it was up to me, here's how I would have it ranked. I'd have Alabama 1, not Alabama. I'd have Texas 1, Ohio State 2. Then you could put Alabama there. Then Tennessee for the time being, because they hadn't played yet, and everybody... The number one thing college people love to say is they ain't played nobody. They ain't played nobody. That's what they love to say. So until they play somebody, like they hadn't just beat up anybody with a pulse. And they have beat Oklahoma. And I thought Oklahoma was an SEC team now, but apparently they ain't nobody. They managed to beat Auburn. You know what? This ain't even what that's about. We ain't even going to speak on Auburn. But that's not what it's about. But until Tennessee beats Alabama, and yes, Tennessee will beat Alabama, we'll just leave them right there where they at. So I think Bama being number 1 is kind of prisoner of the moment because they haven't shown me anything that warrants them being better than Tennessee or Texas, especially Texas. But I don't get too caught up in the ratings thing now because we don't have that BCS computer system no more. We got the playoff system, and then you got a whole conference championship. So all that ranking stuff will weigh stuff each other out. All that is just water cooler and chop it up talk. That's really all the poll does at this point. It does matter to a certain degree because that tells you where you are seeding-wise. But if you really like that and you are who you say you are, the poll ain't worth but a hill of beans. I just thought that was odd that they just jumped them like that. And Georgia's still a top 5 team. And I'm not saying Georgia's bad. I just didn't think they was how they had them up there like that. But clearly, until further notice, the road still goes to Alabama. That's a fact. That's a fact. So that's all I want to say about that. Now, something else I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas has not had a good year this year. Been a lot said about Dallas. Not too much good, But a lot's been said about Dallas. And I guess there's this thing I've heard a lot. Oh, Dallas is not America's team. Why are they still America's team? That's not really America's team. The Chiefs is America's team now, or the Patriots is America's team. I've heard, these are the kind of things I've heard. I'm here to tell y'all, Dallas is still America's team. And I'm not even a Dallas fan. That's not my squad. I don't hate them or nothing. They're cool. I watch them like everybody else. But the Cowboys are still America's team. And I'm going to tell you why. And believe it or not, it don't even got, the reason why they're America's team ain't got too much to do with wins or losses. And allow me to explain. So let's take Bill and Joe. Better yet, let's do this. Take my homies. Let's take Donatello right here. We'll take Raphael right here. Meet Ralph, meet Donatello. Let's say Ralph is a diehard Cowboy fan. I'm talking about he lives and dies with the Cowboys. Donnie hates everything the Cowboys stand for. Everything. Okay. Now, when Sunday comes around, he's watching. He's rooting to the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Let's go Dak, CeeDee Lamb, all that. You know, rooting, tooting, and he just amped up every Sunday. Donnie, not so much. He wants to see him fail. He wants to see him succeed. These two watch the game, watching the same team, but for different reasons. Because one wants to see him, one wants something to celebrate, to brag. One wants to watch and see him when they do fail or something like that. One wants to see him squander, watch him suffer. So he can tell him, I told you so. Or he can say, I told you we about that. I told you we could do that. I told you. That's what they do. Now, you multiply that by the whole world. See, regardless of you like the Cowboys or you love them, you hate them, you watch them. You're either watching them because you're cheering them or you're watching them because you want to see them go down. It gives you something to talk about. Because, see, a lot of people like politics. I'm not a politic guy, but a lot of people are into politics. And really all politics do is kind of create division. But if you have, but with that politic type thing, you get people that, especially with sports, politics, yeah. But with sports, you got people that may never have any kind of interaction with each other talking. Whether they like the Cowboys or hate them, they watching the same team for different reasons. On top of Dallas being the most valuable franchise in sports, not just NFL, in sports, worth $10 billion. That's a lot of lettuce. So they making the money. We know money make the world go round. They got a lot. They one of the more popular fan bases. They gonna travel well. They gonna watch them live, breathe, die with the Cowboys. Cowboy fans ain't leaving the Cowboys. And people that hate the Cowboys, they gonna watch them regardless. So you got the whole world captivated with Dallas, regardless of if they win or lose. Because if they win, the lovers gonna sing their praises from the hilltops. And if they lose, you got the haters that's just going to laugh and everything. And in the midst of all that, you got Jerry Jones talking about any and everything, talking about whether it's Dak Prescott need the money, he don't need the money, or it's the best team I've seen since Michael Irvin, or if he talking about people's Johnson sizes, or if he's saying about whatever. You got all this. And not to mention, you got the powers that be, you know, the Foxes of the world, the ESPNs, and barbershops around the world talking about whatever the Cowboys got going on. That's why they so popular, because they stay on people's minds and in people's mouths, and more often than not, on people's TVs. That's why they America's team. Whether they win or lose is irrelevant, because they still gonna be on people's mind. America's mind, if you will. Which, there you have it, is why Dallas Cowboys are America's team. Because the Patriots never really had it like the Dallas Cowboys do. And the Chiefs don't have it like the Dallas Cowboys do. This has been going on since the 90s, over 30 years. So it has nothing to do with championships. Because when we talk about championships, I mean, they ain't won one in 29 years. So there's nothing to talk about there. So that's why they're America's team. And that's why they're going to always be America's team. Nobody's going to top the popularity of the Cowboys. If I was to ask you, who's more popular, the Cowboys or who's hot right now? The Ravens. You're going to say the Cowboys. The Cowboys or the Chiefs? The Cowboys. And the numbers point that out. The numbers bear that. That's not me just saying something. By any metric you want to look at, whether you look at TV ratings, money ratings, fan base ratings, whatever you want to look at, the Dallas Cowboys are the most popular team in the NFL. Win or loss. That's why they're America's team. So when people bring up like they ain't won a Super Bowl in forever or they can't beat nobody, okay, well, fine. Guess what? We still watching. We either laughing because we're going to see if they're going to turn it around, or we're going to watch them because we're going to hate on them and kick the tires on them. And I don't understand why people don't understand that. I really don't. It seems like more people would get that. I can't be the only one to get that. I can't be. But you got the Wayne man here breaking that down. That's why they're America's team. Wins or losses have nothing to do with it. Has everything to do with the popularity and people watching them because they own people's minds. You're either going to watch them because you love them, or you're going to watch them because you hate them, because you want to see them succeed, or you want to see them fail. But regardless, they own your TV, they own ESPN, they own everywhere. They own the powers that be. Talked about. People spending money on them, betting on them, betting with them, betting against them at a high level. That's why they're America's team. I just wanted to put that out there. Now, having said that, are they any good? No, not this year. There's a real chance they can miss the playoffs. But guess what? To my point, let's say they miss the playoffs. What are they going to say? Oh, what Dallas going to do? I don't know if Carolina can beat, Monmouth University right now. But ain't nobody asking about what Carolina going to do. Not outside the fan base. Now, if you find somebody in the fans, then sure, people like me going to ask what they going to do or what should they do, who they going to draft. Yeah, we will. But the masses, they ain't checking. Ain't nobody coming to see them. Ain't nobody checking up on Carolina like that. It's a reason why you can get a family pack of Carolina tickets for $20. Good luck trying to do that with the Cowboys. I don't give a damn how bad they look. That bad boy going to still be full. So, moving on. Buffalo Bills got their teeth kicked in by the Baltimore Ravens. I'm still high on Buffalo. I still got them coming out of the AFC. And games like this in the season, everybody has a game where you just throw out. You can't really learn much from it. You remember it, you take it in for what it is, and you don't just dwell on it, because sometimes what you put out there isn't a true representation of what you are. See, I'm one of them ones, I don't think you should grade somebody by the highest moment, just like I don't think you should grade somebody by the lowest moment, because you're not always going to be at that high, just like you're not always going to be at that low. But where you are going to be is somewhere in the middle. More often than not, you're not going to be in the middle. Unless you just peaking, clipping all the time, then that's all-time great stuff. But usually you're going to mellow around somewhere in the middle. And so, for having said that, I've seen a lot more good with the Buffalo Bills than I have bad. Just like the Ravens. Yeah, they was down bad for a little bit, but we knew they wasn't what they was putting out there. They just having a low moment. And now it looks like they didn't turn it around. They looked unstoppable tonight against a good Bills team. Now, I'm glad that just current the trend. I told you, it's like running the football is coming back. And we got two teams that's really how they've been winning, running the ball. But Baltimore got that thing rolling and humming early. Big Henry got that thing going early. Jacked up my parlay ticket, by the way. We ain't gonna talk about that. But still, if Baltimore gonna be like that, then I may have to rethink about Buffalo coming out the AFC. I still feel like it's still gonna be Buffalo, because I just that's just what I believe. That's just what I believe. But we've seen the key to success. We've seen that, and it looks like they're finally starting to figure out how to use Derrick Henry, the Ravens, because I didn't think they knew how to use him at first. Now I don't know if I can definitively say that. Oh, they don't know how to use them. They don't know how to use them. They do know how to use them. Now I feel like, and I don't know if they really needed Derrick Henry, I still think that was more of a luxury because Baltimore ran the ball well last year. They already led the league in rushing. That ain't what they needed. That's not what they needed. It's cool to have, sure. Not hating on it, but that's not what they needed. So they just strengthen the strength. And if you're going to do that, you got to go all the way in. So nobody's going to confuse Lamar for a straight pocket, pick you apart, drop back, and throw the ball 25 times, 30 times type passer. Nor should it be. I don't think it's good for anybody to just drop back and just throw it at a high amount. Because when you put the ball in the air that many times, you're putting yourself at risk for more interceptions, more incompletes, more turnovers. Whereas you run the ball, yeah, dude can fumble it. But, I mean, when you got it on the ground, you got it solid, it limits your chance to turn the ball over. And it moves the chains. And you wear out the defense. And you keep the opposition off the field. You know, the other offense off the field. These are all things why I think having a strong run game is paramount. You got to have that. And I don't understand why that running back kind of went away. Seems like it's kind of starting to come back in style now. So I can appreciate that. But I never understood why it went out to begin with. And I think the Bills have figured that out. Baltimore's figured that out. I think they just things got out of hand from them. They couldn't really play how they really wanted to, because when you get down 14 points, you can't just sit back and just run like that. You got to try to get downfield real quick, and that's kind of hard to do sometimes when you're running. Now, they got a playmaker in Josh Allen. I still got Josh Allen as the second best QB in the game. I don't think that changes because he lost today. Because, again, sometimes you just going to have sometimes it's just not your day. That's okay. Joe Burrow's still a top 5 quarterback, and he 1-4, 1-3. So I really wouldn't put too much stake in the Buffalo losing like that. Just like I wouldn't put too much stake in how the Ravens looked in past this season. But I'll tell you this, both of them look better than the Chiefs. I believe the Chiefs can be had by either one of them. Either one. Especially like they're going to lose Rashee Rice for the year. Now, that don't worry me like it would some people, because I saw Patrick Mahomes have an offensive core that led the league in drops last year and won a Super Bowl. So does he have the greatest show on turf? He don't. But I don't think this receiving unit is going to lead the league in drops like it did last year either. And again, Patrick Mahomes we don't just talk about him as being the best in the league. We comparing him up there with the Bradys, the Montanas, the Elways. You know, we got him up there with that, the Peyton Mannings. So when you in that kind of stratosphere and you get talked about in that kind of reverence, you just got to figure it out. Because all those guys will figure it out. Because Tom Brady made a career out of throwing the lunchmen and construction workers and school teachers. Well, Randy Moss and Gronk notwithstanding. And I guess Wes Welker and Julian Edelman had something to say about that. But a lot of time he was throwing to the Cosby kids too. And he made it happen. And everybody, I understand everybody kind of has their weapon, like a Tom had a Gronk or a Randy Moss or something like that. Peyton Manning had a Reggie Wayne. Kurt Warner had a Isaac Bruce. He had that. I understand that. I totally understand that. And so you probably ask, well, who does Patrick Mahomes have? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't he got Travis Kelce? Ain't y'all been trying to put him in the all-time tight end conversation? So he got his weapon too. And he still got Xavier Worthy. And y'all act like he just gonna outrun everybody, like it's just some kind of gaping difference between 4.2 speed and 4.3 speed. It's really not that big a difference. Not really. If you think about it, that we talking about a 0.1 percentage of a difference between 4.2 and 4.3. It'd be different if he was running a 4.3 or 4.2 and the other next man trying to guard was running like a 6.2 or 6.1. Then you ain't got a shot in hell at trying to guard him. But if you at 4.2, 3, and he had 4-2, oh, you can stick him with that. Because he might not be able to get to that 4-2 spot. He might not get in out and breaks a 4-2. Now, he do got real game speed. But as we've seen, these corners got game speed too. You got to figure out that route tree. Again, having said all that, the Chiefs are going to be okay. They're just not better than the Bills, and they're not better than Baltimore. Because they got a run game that can keep the ball away from the Chiefs, and they got a defense that can get them off the field. And they got 2 great quarterbacks. Josh Allen, a great quarterback. Lamar Jackson, great quarterback. And they both got strong run games. Yeah, I keep leaning on that run game. Power running, pistol, single back, up the gut, side, sweeps. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And that, again, that receiving core work, it's not the best. So take advantage of it. Let them boys, they going to get off, and I think they're going to do something. I think they're going to do something against them. So, yeah, the Chiefs may have a hard time, and that's fine. But I just, you can't win the Super Bowl every year. You can't win the Super Bowl every year. And that's all right. Excuse me, y'all. Man, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Oh, and you know, I got to talk about this too. Got to talk about this. Because something else has happened since the show. Last week's show. Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be playing in the Garden, y'all. I'll be honest. When it first happened, first of all, I didn't even believe it. It took me about 5 minutes to get myself together. That's number one. But when I did, really like, dang, this is not a drill. We really got Cat Daddy Towns coming to the Garden. I said I don't love it, but I like it. But I can love it a little more if I get the Karl Anthony Towns that's not just jacking threes up. I can love it a little more if I get the Karl Anthony Towns when he was with Tibbs, when he was a solid rebounder and he had a degree of toughness. I can agree with that. I can love that. What I do love, though, however, is how, despite New York going out because of injuries, we didn't have the roster to just run it back, let everybody get healthy. Some teams can do that. We didn't have that. Teams like the Bucks, okay, yeah, let them get healthy. They'll be fine. Yeah, let us get healthy. We'll be fine, too. But I don't think we could have got over the hill. I think we could have got to the Eastern Finals, but the road stops there. Now, when you're getting the Michael Bridges and the Karl Anthony Towns on top of OG, who you got, you know, at the deadline, and Big Body Brunson, who was playing like an MVP candidate, top 5 player, dare I say, now you got something. On top of that depth, now you got something. Because now we're going to have a dependable big man. Because Mitchell Robinson, I'm sorry, I like Mitchell, but you don't know if he's playing for 5 games or 5 minutes. The brother can't stay on the floor. He always hurt. So we had to do something about that. And I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work. Because we were good last year, and all we did was get better. That's all we did. And we needed something else. We needed that. And we got that. So where do I see this team going? I'll be honest with you. Say what you want. I got the New York Knicks going to the NBA Finals. And if they get anything less of an NFC championship, the Eastern Finals, if they don't even make it there, season's a failure. I'm sorry. The Knicks got expectations now. We can put them on them now. Now, in past years, I didn't have no kind of standards for the Knicks. Y'all just do out there and just do what you can. Now, oh no. Not after what I seen last year. Not after what we brought to the yard this year. No, sir. This ain't the team that you tank with. This is a team that goes for the gusto. So you got talent like the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee's of the world. You got talent like that. Now you got to capitalize on it and bring that thing what they call home. Because the East can be had. The East can be, there's no, and Philly, First of all, we beat Philly last year. So we beat them last year. How come we can't beat them this year? Oh, but Joel Embiid was hurt. He still played. And we got something for JoJo this year. JoJo, he was a lot to deal with, despite him being hurt. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Let me not do that. Because I'm sure he was legit hurt. But I still saw the brother going out there getting 30 and 42. Good luck trying to do that with Cat Daddy Towns down there this time. Good luck trying to do that with Karl Anthony Towns down there this time. Like the old heads say, you might get by, but you don't get away. And this time, New York gonna turn you every way but loose. And we do shoot threes very well. We do. I just don't want Cat to fall in love with him. Because if anybody gonna fall in love with a three-point shot, it's Karl Anthony Towns. Which I think he's better, playing elbow and in the post. Now, it's cool to shoot him. I just as long as he don't fall in love with him. Because he does shoot him pretty well. So I ain't gonna like he can't shoot. But I just can't unsee what I saw in the playoffs. I just can't unsee that. That's period. Now, I might be right about all this. I might be wrong. I don't know. Just call it how I see it, y'all. But in the meantime, I'm out. I'll catch y'all in traffic.